Welcome to Campfire Stories.
Welcome back to the fire, friends. Tonight's tale is a lighter one, mostly a love story of a sort about the most ridiculous rich man the Klondike ever produced, a little bantam rooster of a fellow named William Gates, whom the whole Yukon knew as Swiftwater Bill. And it is a story about gold and vanity and a dance-hall girl, and of all things on this green earth, a war fought entirely with eggs.
A war fought with eggs, Marty. I already love this one. Who was Swiftwater Bill?
He was a small man with a large opinion of himself, Carol. Before the rush, he'd been a dishwasher and a river guide, and he got his nickname because he was, by his own account, afraid of fast water and made everyone else run the rapids. But Swiftwater Bill got lucky, truly, wildly lucky, on a claim on Dorado Creek, one of the richest little streams in the whole Klondike, and overnight this washed-up nobody became a millionaire. And Carol, there has never been a man less suited to sudden money in the history of the world.
Oh no. Marty, I know this kind of man. The money did not make him wise. It just made him loud.
Loud, Carol, is the kindest word for it. Swiftwater Bill bought the first silk top hat and Prince Albert coat in Dawson City and wore them everywhere, in the mud, down the mine. He was the only man in the Klondike dressed like a banker at a funeral. And he spent his gold as fast as he dug it, on champagne, on gambling, and above all, Carol, on the dance-hall girls of Dawson, for whom he had a weakness that bordered on a sickness. And chief among them was a young woman named Gussie Lamour.
Gussie Lamour.
And Swiftwater Bill was head over heels, I take it. Was she in love with him, Marty, or with his gold?
Now that, Carol, is the question that started the war. Swiftwater Bill was mad for Gussie, absolutely besotted, and he showered her with gold. But Gussie, by every account, was rather more fond of the gold than of the funny little man in the top hat, and she had other admirers. And one morning, Swiftwater came into a Dawson restaurant and saw his beloved Gussie sitting down to breakfast with another man. And on her plate, Carol, was the one thing in all of Dawson City more precious than a dance-hall girl's affection. A fried egg.
An egg? Marty, why on earth is an egg the precious thing? In a restaurant?
Because, Carol, in Dawson City in the winter of the gold rush, there were almost no eggs to be had. Think of where you were. 1,000 miles from any farm at the frozen end of the earth. Every egg had to be carried in over the passes, packed in oats or straw, praying it didn't freeze and crack. An egg in Dawson was a jewel. Fresh eggs sold for $1 apiece, sometimes far more, when you could get them at all. And to a woman like Gussie, a man who could feed you eggs was a man of real substance. So when Swiftwater saw her eating an egg across the table from a rival, Carol, something in him snapped.
So the egg was not just breakfast.
The egg was courtship.
The other man was winning her with eggs. Oh, Marty, and what did our ridiculous hero do about it?
He declared war, Carol. Economic war. Swiftwater Bill stormed out of that restaurant and went straight to every merchant, every trader, every restaurant in Dawson City, and he bought every single egg in town. The story goes he bought thousands of them at whatever price was asked, $1 more, cornering the entire egg supply of the Klondike in a jealous rage, so that his darling Gussie could not get so much as one from any other man at any price. If she wanted an egg in Dawson City, she would have to come to Swiftwater Bill.
He bought all the eggs.
Marty, he bankrupted himself near enough, buying every egg in the Yukon out of pure jealousy over a girl. That is the most absurd, and the most romantic, and the most foolish thing I have ever heard at this fire.
It is all three, Carol, and that was Swiftwater Bill in one story. Now, the tellings differ on what he did with his mountain of eggs. Some say he had them all cooked and fed them to the dogs in the street, so no one could have them. Some say he presented them to Gussie in a grand romantic gesture. But it hardly matters, because the point was never the eggs. The point was that Swiftwater Bill Gates was a man who, given a fortune, would spend the very last dollar of it to win an argument with a woman who did not love him. And he did, more or less exactly that more than once, with more than one woman, for the rest of his life.
More than once? Oh, Marty, do not tell me the egg war was not even the worst of it.
Not by a long way, Carol. Swiftwater Bill went through his El Dorado fortune, and then several more. He married a string of very young women, some barely more than girls, chased them across the continent, made and lost money in the Klondike, and later in Alaska, was hauled into court for his debts and his marriages more times than anyone could count. He was, to the end, a foolish, generous, vain, hopeless romantic who could not hold on to a dollar or a heart to save his life. And he died, Carol, years later and far away, in a mining dispute down in Peru, of all places broke as the day he was born.
Broke in Peru. Oh, Marty. From all the eggs in the Klondike to nothing at all. It is funny and it is so sad. Was there anything good in him at the bottom of all that foolishness?
There was joy in him, Carol. That is the thing. Swiftwater Bill never once, in all his rises and ruins, seemed to learn a lesson or feel a regret. He simply loved being alive and being ridiculous and being in love, and when the money ran out, he'd shrug and go find some more. The world is full of careful men who die rich and joyless. Swiftwater Bill was not careful for one single day, and he spent every dollar he ever had on something that delighted him, even if it was only a mountain of eggs and a girl who laughed at him. There are worse ways, Carol, to be a fool. I'm Marty Shepherd.
And I'm Carol, and tonight I am laughing and shaking my head at Swiftwater Bill and his eggs. Hold your people close, spend a little foolishly now and then on the ones you love, and come back to the fire.